Hi, this is Tranisha Cottrell, and today I wanted to talk about pain. So, what made me want to talk about pain today is I was listening to a sermon earlier today, and it was just about growth and being in a position where pain pushes you into purpose. And I know I've mentioned that before in a previous video. I also want to make sure that whenever there's a word or there's something that is so instrumental in our lives, that I make sure that I reiterate it, and I also make sure that I give it the focus that it deserves. So when you think about pain, most of the time you're thinking about you don't want to experience pain. You don't want to experience physical pain, emotional pain, anything. But I also feel like pain is so necessary because it pushes you into your purpose. It pushes you to grow. It leaves you even when you're in an uncomfortable situation. Sometimes being uncomfortable can allow you to become the person that God intended you to be. And so for me, when I think about the pain that I've experienced in the past, I feel like that pain made me who I am. That pain made me stronger. Sometimes I go through things now and it'll seem painful, and I'm just like, I don't understand why I have to go through this. But I know that it's for a purpose. I know it's not just for nothing. It's because God is using it to make me stronger. He's using it to build me up. He's using it to push me into further into my purpose. He's using it to make me the person that he always created me to be. And if everything was easy, if there was no pressure, if I wasn't being squeezed, if I didn't have to go through any trials or tribulations, if everything was super easy, the the power behind my voice, the passion that I feel for my purpose, the inspiration that I feel, the motivation that I have behind everything that I do would be non-existent. I wouldn't be the person I am today without pain. I wouldn't be the person that I am today without being squeezed, without being tested. And in my trials and tribulations, I would just be flowing through life. I would just be walking around, and I probably would feel like I'm owed something instead of knowing that I really truly worked for it. And that's what I really love about being in my purpose is it's not just something that I just got. God didn't just say because you're a Christian, I'm going to give you everything that you wanted. No, because I'm obedient and because I'm willing to sacrifice, I get some of the things that I get. It has absolutely nothing to do with just me being a regular person. Yes, God does bless us with different things in our lives, but the more that we endure, the more that he can give us. The more we are prepared for the next position of our lives. If we didn't have to go through any pressure, if we didn't have to feel uncomfortable, if we didn't have to feel any pain at all, when we go into the next stage of our life, when we meet other people, when God opens the doors that he needs for us to go to the next level, we won't be prepared for it. We will cease to exist in that area of our lives. We will never make it to the point that God intended for us to be in our life if we don't go through anything. Every time I know I said this previously, but every time I go through some sort of event where I feel like I'm having mental, spiritual, or emotional warfare, I literally feel in that moment like, oh my gosh, like it's so much pressure on me. It's so much tension around me. It feels like it's something trying to hold me down. It's something that's trying to push me back. Like it feels like I don't know how to describe it. I'm trying to think of a good analogy. It's kind of like do I want to use this one? I'm trying to think of something. I guess it could be like an inflatable item. When you're getting something that's inflatable and it has that thing that you have to push through in order to be able to push air into it, in order for it to reach its full potential, and in order for you to be able to get past the exterior of the item, you really do have to push through in order for it to reach its full potential. That's how I feel like it feels for me when I feel pressure in my life, when I'm going through all those trials and tribulations and I'm in that mental, spiritual, and physical warfare. It literally feels like, it doesn't feel like it pushed me back. It feels like I'm right here, like when you're running or you're trying to move forward, but you just can't get past that other layer. It's like something's holding you in that one area. But when I push through it, when I push through the thing that's holding me back, when I push past the things that have tripped me up in the past, when I push past all the trials and tribulations, when I pass the test, when I get on the other side, I feel so much stronger. I feel like I have a second wind. I feel like I have energy, and I feel like I have this power in me that I don't normally have. I feel like it gave me an extra edge, if that makes any sense. It feels like without that pressure, I wouldn't have been able to become or learn or grow or become stronger in that area. I struggle with patience, and I'm always telling God, I want to be more patient, and I work on being patient. And for the most part, I do really well. Every once in a while, mm, every once in a while, I could feel myself being tested, my patience being tested, and I try to keep a positive mindset. I try to make sure that I'm doing the best that I can, and I'm not just allowing it to overtake me. Every time I'm patient in an area where in the past I haven't been patient, it allows my patience to grow. Every time I go through some sort of event in my life and I am obedient. Obedience helps me become more patient. The more that I am obedient to God, the more that I'm focused on God, I notice my patience start to grow. And it's not always easy. I get tested, and I really feel like my patience are running thin sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, people are trying to see if you're about that God life, because they really want to see if you are truly, who you are. And it's funny because people in the world sometimes will make it seem like as if they determine who you are. And a lot of people don't understand they have nothing to do with who you are. Like, you can get encouragement from people, and it's good to hear. You can have people on your side who help you in events, which is really great, and it's a blessing. And also, no one can be God. God is the only one who created me the way that I'm supposed to be. The people who are supposed to be in my life are there. The people who aren't about that life are not in my life. And I say about that life because I feel like when it comes to a career or any type of relationship, it has to be people who really are made for that season of your life. The weak, the people who can't withstand the test of time or trials or whatever else are not going to be in that season with you. And it's not that it's anything against that person or anything else. It's just that they're not about that season. And when I'm going through different stages of my life, me being true to myself is the only thing that helps push me through. God first, and then me being true to myself is the things that help push me through into my purpose, or helps keep me stable and under pressure, helps me feel like I get that extra set of wind, that I get that extra motivation, that extra thing that I need to keep going. Like, right when I feel like the old me without God, I would have given up like 100 times by now. When I know I'm always saying this, but whenever, I don't know why my nose is itching. Right side. You know how the old school saying, I think it's the right side is like a guy and the left side is a girl or something. I don't know. But anyways, like, it's someone that you know that's coming to see you or whatever, or that you will see that you didn't expect to see. And it's like, I feel like me saying this, I'm gonna be so judged right now, but really, we have a lot of things when I grew up that we used to say, and I know I'm not the only one who has like sayings like that your parents or grandparents would say growing up, and they'd be like, "Oh, if your right hand itches, you're about to get some money, or whatever else." And so, as I rub it on my pocket, but now that I'm worshiping money, I'm just saying, like, bless me. Because I'm here for it. I'm not gonna pretend like, oh no, God, no, don't bless me. I'm like, yes, I know that if you're giving it to me, you feel like this is something that I should have in my life. And it's not that I'm feeling like I deserve this. I'm just feeling like a gracious acceptor of blessings, a gracious acceptor of gifts or whatever else it is. I'm not just going to pretend as if nothing is good enough. Everything that God intends for me to have is good enough for my life, and nothing less, nothing more. I used to be afraid to say nothing more, but God is the God of abundance. So nothing more for God. What He has, the vision that He has for my life is going to be way more exceptional than anything that I could ever imagine. Okay. I thought I had something coming and oh, goodness. Okay. When it comes to all of the tests and the trials and tribulations you have in your life, even though it's hard in the moment, even though it feels like you really don't see how you're going to make it past it or how things are going to work out, know that God got you. That He would never give you a test without giving you the answers. He would never put you in a situation just so that you could fail it. He usually is giving you a test because He feels like you will you will be able to pass it. You will have the answers. You'll use the things that you learned previously in a better way. You will be able to navigate through whatever storm it is that's going on in your life. And you will be able to be anything that you want to be. I had this on my heart, and I feel like I want to say it because I know there's some people that probably go through things like this in life. When when you have friends in your life, when you have people in your life, things are happening in your life, and you don't do the best that you can in the first situation. Like, let's say you let people get away with things, or you didn't stand up for yourself in one area or another. Goodness gracious. In one area or another. No, do not let the adversary use guilt on you to make you feel unworthy or like you're not good enough. I know sometimes in life we want to seek approval from others or we want to people please or whatever else. But as long as you are happy with yourself, and when I say happy with yourself, don't just go beating up yourself talking about, well, I should have done this, I should have done that. Did you do the best you could in that situation? And if you didn't, take that as a lesson and learn that next time you won't do it that way. It's so easy for the adversary to use your guilt against you to make you feel like you're undeserving of the things that God wants to give you in your life. It's so easy for when you're people seeking or you're seeking approval from other people for that to manipulate you into thinking that you're not good enough because they feel like you're not good enough. No, they are not good enough for you. It's not that for your life. It's not that you're not good enough for them. You are good enough and you are worthy because God created you. So don't ever let someone else tell you who you are. That's why I always reiterate over and over again that you really have to know who you are. You can't just fake loving yourself. You can't just fake being confident. You really do have to truly start believing in yourself. You really have to believe that you can accomplish anything. You can do anything, that you are strong, you are powerful because you can call on God's name at any time that you need strength whenever you're feeling weak and he will help you. You don't have to do this alone. God will be there with you every step of the way. You're going to fail because that's normal. I'm reading this book right now called How to Be Perfect. I can't remember the writer's name, so I might put it in the description or something later if I remember to do it. And so in this book, it just discusses how it's human nature for us to fail. No matter what's going on in our life, we're going to fail at things. That's just life because we are human. We're not a robot, we're not a machine. We're not just going to be able to just go and walk certain ways the right way and the right steps and do all the right things every single day in complete perfection. We can strive to be better, and that's the best that we can do. We sometimes, when we have failures, when we let the failure consume us, it can make us less than what we were created to be. It can make us insecure. It can make us feel a certain type of way, be in our feelings. And really, that's normal. You and everybody else in the world is failing at something. It's how you take that failure and turn it into a win. It's how you move forward after you failed, how you look at yourself after you failed something or lost something that really makes you into a confident and incredible person that you are. You don't have to be like anyone else. Someone else going through the same scenario might do something totally different. This is not about their life. This is about your life. What are you going to do for yourself that makes you feel comfortable, that makes you feel confident, that makes you feel like, regardless if you feel every single day something, you will still be winning at something else. So create the win list that we talked about in the one video. And for people who haven't watched the other video, a win list is a list of things that you've accomplished during the day. It doesn't have to be anything big. It could be like, I did my 3-step skincare program today, and I usually just like throw some water on my face and do a little towel pat, and that's it. Like, that's a win. You maybe didn't make breakfast this morning, but maybe you cleaned the kitchen. That's a win. Maybe you didn't end up writing a 3-page paper, but you wrote a paragraph. That's a win. Maybe you walked somewhere instead of driving. That's a win. Maybe you exercised today. That's a win. Like, there's a little things that you can do throughout the day that you are winning at. You don't have to make a list of loss and wins. Just make a list of all the things that you wanted. You spoke life into yourself today. That's a win. You you spoke to God today and you really took some time out of the day and made sure that you made time for God. That's a win. You read your Bible today. That's a win. Everything that you do that is pushing you forward, that is building your self esteem, or that is something good that happened during the day, or something good that you've done. It doesn't matter what anyone else's response was. It doesn't matter how anyone else took it. It doesn't matter what else happened. If you believed in yourself today, that's a win. If you had someone say something negative to you and you did not go off on them, or you had patience today, that's a win. Every time you do something, think of all the wins that you have in your life, because it's easy to want to beat yourself up because you're failing at something. But every failure that you have is helping you push you into your purpose. It's helping you become a better person. Because if you don't fail at some things, you're not going to know where your areas of weakness are. For me, every time I have a failure or a loss of something, I think of it as motivation for me to do better in that area. Sometimes, I can be in my feelings every once in a while, but I know God got me. And so when I'm doing something like like writing this book, there were so many things that went wrong. And the old me would have just given up and been like, okay, well, obviously I can't do this because this isn't going right and this isn't happening right and all of these things, and I have to give up this thing that I really want for this book and for my purpose and for God at this moment, because he wants me to stay focused. And it's so easy to think of the loss over all of the other things that you've accomplished and won during the day. But when you have a win list, it really will put things into perspective. Even when you wake up in the morning, that's a win. A lot of people didn't wake up today. I mean, I don't mean that in an ill will kind of way or any kind of negative thing. I just mean, like, really think about that. Think about the fact that you have a chance to breathe on your own or with oxygen. Think about the fact that you have sight, you can see things, or you can read Braille. Think about the fact that you know how to read. Think about the fact that you can talk, that you can taste, that you can smell, that you can hear things, that your body is functioning the way it's supposed to be, or the way that God intended it to, or that you have all of your limbs. If you have all of your limbs, if you have one arm, you got one arm, whatever it is. Think about being grateful for the things that you actually do have in your life and count that as a win. Don't just think about the things that you don't have, because every time you think of a negative thought or a loss or a failure, it will hinder your self-esteem. It will it will start making you feel a certain type of way, and that is not leading you into your purpose, or helping you stay focused on being positive or pushing yourself forward. And I really I had a scenario where I had to be uncomfortable. I I really truly felt a certain type of way about something. And instead of me speaking up about it, I wanted to not be mean or be I don't know how to describe it, but I didn't want to come off as really, really just trying to be a my way or the highway kind of person. I really wanted to be myself. And I'm going to tell you this because I feel like it'll help so many women and men. It's better to be yourself, true to yourself, and stand up for the things that you really truly want or you need in your life than to pretend to be someone else to please someone else. When I know I had talked about in a previous video how I had kind of let some things slide with some friends and things like that because I just didn't have the energy and I had so much other stuff going on. I just didn't focus on what was going on at the moment. And so I kind of just let my friends just kind of, get over on the one situation. I could say acquaintances. I wouldn't say friends, but, I feel like everyone's a friend unless they're not. And so, and then I have like close friends. And so I can honestly say me trying to make someone else happy because I wanted to hide who I truly was because I felt like me speaking up for myself wasn't going to matter is nothing compared to me actually voicing my opinion in the most respectful way and saying what it is that I actually need. And I mean in a standard kind of way. Like I have standards in all relationships of my life and work and everything because I don't want to be that person who's taken advantage of. I want to make sure that I'm a really hard worker when it comes to work. I also want to make sure that I respect myself. I don't want to do anything that's unethical. I don't want to do anything that makes me into something that I'm not. I want to be a good hard worker when it comes to friendships and relationships in general. I want to make sure that I'm true to myself. It feels so good to really speak up for yourself, to really truly be who you are. Like when I let something slide, when I don't speak up for myself, it really does break pieces of me off. It feels uncomfortable. It makes me feel weaker than I am. It makes me feel insecure in certain areas because I didn't voice how I truly felt about something. And should I say insecure? It just makes me feel less of who I am. It makes me feel like the other person is determining whether I'm worthy or not instead of me saying and stating and showing that I'm worthy. And so it's something about when you really truly stand up for yourself that really does feel good from the inside out. Like I'm glowing today because I really feel so good about standing up for myself. And it's not always easy, and especially since depending on the situation that you're in or where you're at, sometimes it's not always the appropriate time to discuss certain things. And so for me, when I can't voice my opinion, it eats me up inside. It really does. It's like I can't say it in that moment, and I'm like every day I'm like a little piece of me dies slowly. And then and then like eventually when I do get to speak my mind or I get to talk on the subject or I get to say how I truly feel about something, especially if it's a standard and it's something that I need, not just in anything kind of thing, but something that's really important to me. When I speak on it, it makes me feel like I'm being true to myself. I feel more confident. I feel more content with my life, content with myself, and regardless of how the person takes it, because I know that my intention is never to be nasty or to be rude or to make someone feel a certain type of way. It's really to stand up for myself and to make sure that I am taking care of myself. Because if I don't do it, besides God, no one else will. So it's important for me to respect and honor myself above everything else. God is first. So I just want to make sure I put that in there because I don't want you to think I'm saying me above everything else and God. I'm saying God first and I'm respecting myself and honoring myself because me honoring myself and respecting myself is me honoring God. And so no matter who comes into your life, no matter what they do or say, just make sure you're being true to yourself and you are respecting yourself because it will not do you any good to disrespect yourself for someone else's validation or someone else's approval or for someone else to feel comfortable. And don't feel like you can't be honest about how you feel about things because someone is going through something in life. Like, people will always be going through things, but you not being honest with your friends is going to hurt you in the long run, because your friend may think you're okay with being treated a certain way or talked to a certain way or them doing certain things in your life until you speak up for yourself. And you have to say it, because honestly, people can't read your mind. They're just assuming you're okay with things that you're not okay with until you tell them. And it's up to them to respect you or not. Respect you or leave your life. And I say it like that because you have to protect yourself. You have to protect your peace and your mind, body, and soul. And if someone that is in your life doesn't respect you, then they don't deserve a position in your life, because you will always feel like you have to prove to your friend that you're good enough when you don't need their approval because you already have God's. And as long as you believe in yourself, you trust yourself, and you respect yourself, you honor yourself, it will feel so good regardless of who's there. Like, I don't care who's in my life or who's not. I'm so grateful for the people that God allowed in my life. Any person that doesn't respect me since I stood up for myself, I'm not going to say don't care. I know I say that a lot. I honestly feel so amazing right now because I'm proud of myself, because I honored myself, because I respected myself more than I ever could if I was trying to please somebody else. It feels so good. Like, I don't feel like my confidence drifted. I don't feel like I'm insecure. I don't feel like I got any kind of negative connotation hitting me right now because of seeking approval from someone else or trying to make someone else feel comfortable. I feel comfortable. And I'm not doing it in a selfish way. I'm doing it in I'm honoring God and myself kind of way. God and myself kind of way. I am being the person that God intended for me to be. And in order for me to do that and inspire others, I need to be true to myself. I have to stand up for myself. I have to be willing to allow people to see the real me. I have to allow people to see who I truly am, who I'm becoming, and I have to be about that life. I have to truly love myself. I have to truly respect and honor myself. I have to truly care about myself. And it's funny because I thought that I was always the person who was kind of quiet and I would never like really say anything. But I wouldn't not say anything because I wanted to just be walked all over top of. I just felt like my voice didn't matter. And whenever I would speak up for myself, I'd be with, or I have the sort of people in my life who would feel like my opinion really held no weight. And so when God was working on me, when I was going through my past relationship, when I was going through all the things in my past, it's like everyone around me was telling me that this isn't who I could be, that my voice would never matter. And it's like the adversary my whole life has been trying to stop me from doing this. And that's how you know it's God. That's how you know that it's a real purpose that God put on your heart, because it'll seem like your whole life people have been trying to stop you from the one thing that God intended for you to do. And now that I'm in my purpose, I know that my voice holds weight, that the power of the tongue is so powerful. If I had been reading the Bible at first, I would have read that, but I would have still thought it can't be me. And so when when I think about it now, and I think about how God was planning on using me until I reached this point in my life, I would have never been able to believe in myself to think that my opinion would matter, that it would change things, that people would listen to what I have to say, that they would want to become better or want to learn or grow or anything. And it's all God. It is all God. God literally brought me through everything. His grace and mercy covered me. He literally pushed me into my purpose through pressure. So, in conclusion, without pain, there's no purpose. Without pressure, you will not be able to be pushed into your purpose. When it comes to other people in your life, you need to be real with yourself, honor yourself, and respect yourself. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. Like, Of course, when your friends feel a certain type of way, if they feel badly, if you hurt their feelings when you say something, of course, be a good person. Like, don't just be nasty and rude to people just to only be selfish, but really truly respect yourself. Really truly think about what it is that you need in your life, your standards, what it is that people would have to do to be a part of your life. Don't just allow any person in your group. Like, not just everybody can be with this. Not every person can be, in my life, that because some people don't deserve to be there. Some people shouldn't be there. It's really not, my life isn't for everyone. The things that I'm doing, the places that I'm going, the places that God is allowing me to be a part of is not for everyone. Not everyone can handle it. Not everyone will be able to be a part of it. But the people who God allows in my life, the people who are a part of my life are there because they truly respect me. And they're there because while they respect me, they are there. And any person that doesn't respect me, respect my opinion, respect me as an individual, cannot be a part of my circle or my life. And I know that sounds a little harsh, but I have to protect my mind and my peace. And I will not be able to be peaceful if I'm always constantly having to prove something to someone who doesn't deserve to be a part of my life. I'm not going to be able to be at my highest potential if I'm constantly doubting myself, if I'm constantly feeling as if, well, this person doesn't think this. Well, too bad, so sad. I love who I am. So either you like me or you don't. Either you want to get to know me or you don't. Either you want to be my friend or you don't. Either you hire me or you don't. It is what it is. I'm already good enough where I am. I'm good enough in my life, in my mind, my body, and my soul. I have God on my side. I don't need anything else. Anything that God gives me additional is just a blessing. So you could be part of the blessing or you could just be part of the past. It is what it is. And I don't mean that in like a rude kind of way. Every time I say it, I feel like it's gonna rub some people the wrong way. And I'm not saying it to attack anyone. I don't want anyone to feel like they're not good enough just because they're not my friends or something else. Because maybe they're good enough for someone else's life as a friend or whatever else. Maybe it's the job for the person who's been struggling for 10 years and they finally get a position at this place. Like, I don't know where your life is leading you. I also want people to understand that if you don't have standards for your life or a vision for your future, anyone could be a part of your life. People who are not going in the same direction, people who will hold you back, people who will speak negativity over your life, people who I have people in my life, and I'm sharing this because I don't want you to think that I just only have good people. I have mostly good people, and people who are in my life usually mean the best, but they don't realize how they're coming off, and it's just their personality, and I already know that. So it's not that they are trying to make me feel a certain type of way. I know that this is their personality. So when I need the time to regroup or re-energize or spend more time with God, that's when I you know, I refuel and then communicate with those people again. And it's not that they're bad people, they're loving, they love me, things like that. It's just that when God puts a vision on your life, not everyone can see it. So don't misconstrue the fact that I'm saying that they're either in my life or they're not, I'm just pushing everyone away. There's some people who are in my life who give me a hard truth that I need. Some people are honest with me in areas of my life that I really truly do need to work on and become better in. Some people give unsolicited advice because that's just who they are, but it's not that they're doing it in a facetious way. That's just their personality and they really truly think that they're helping. So don't feel like your circle of peace looks like no one and you and then people that just are yes people surrounding you, because that's not a real true circle. That's just an ego boost, and that's not real. So I already said in conclusion, just make sure that you know that if you're being tested, God is already giving you the answers. Have patience in your life because patience produces growth and pressure produces purpose. And pain allows you to be pushed into your purpose. No matter what's going on in your life, when you are honoring yourself, when you are true to yourself, when you truly respect your mind, body, and soul, everything else will just fall into place. Because you loving yourself above all else is exactly what will allow the right people into your life.